Hey mom and dad, maybe you're like me and you found yourself more and more just crying out that one-word sentence to God, help, as you try to lead your children to walk and live according to His values, His ways, and in His righteousness. Man, it can be so difficult when your child just won't eat the mac and cheese, even though you know he loves mac and cheese. We've all been in situations like that where we feel so frustrated, we have no answers, we don't know what to do other than just cry out for help. Hey, that's okay. And you know what? Kiddopolis Kids Ministry and the Ascent and the Next Gen Ministries of Southern Hills are here for you to help you. I want to give you 3 tips today to help you get some real practical help for those moments when you feel like, I don't have an answer. I don't know what to do with them right now. Here's the first one. Ask another parent. Ask another parent. Get to know some of the other families in our church who've been there. They've gone through that stage that you're in. They've done it, and by God's grace, they've done it well. You know who they are. You've seen them in the hallways, passing them as you're dropping your kids off for Kiddopolis. You've seen them as you've gone to the Ascent. And you've thought to yourself, man, they seem like their kids just have it together a little better than mine do. What are they doing differently? I wonder what they're doing. But oftentimes, if you're anything like me, you feel too intimidated by a family like that to actually go ask them. Boy, I want to encourage you, don't be intimidated to ask them for help. The spiritually mature families in our church would love an opportunity to share with you what God has taught them. How God has led them through a stage where you wouldn't believe it, but there was a time where my kids were just, and they would share with you some encouragement. It's true that no one can be maybe as critical of parents as another parent, but it's also true, especially of a spiritually mature parent, that no one sympathizes with a parent like another parent. Tip number 2, read a book. Read some books this year. There are so many titles I could give you. Parenting by Paul David Tripp. I can't believe you just said that. Tech-Wise, Parenting Generation Screen. There are so many incredibly rich, deep, helpful, gospel-centered, Bible-based books on parenting available to you. Take some time this year to read some books on parenting. But I know what you're saying. I know what you're feeling. Where in my schedule do I have time to sit down quietly and read a book? Because if you're like me, when it comes to actually opening a book and reading it, I want a nice quiet space to do that in. And if it's not quite a nice quiet space, I'm just going to close that book and walk away. Have you tried audiobooks? I mean, legitimately, have you given them a try? Because I found that audiobooks is what's helped me the most. Get through books and read them. Man, I find on my commute to and from work, listening to an audiobook about how to be a godly influence in the lives of my children and my wife, especially as I'm going home from work and I'm tired physically and emotionally and mentally from work, that can give me that spiritual boost I need to make it from getting home around 5 to 8 when kids go to bed without my losing my temper, without me losing my spiritual leadership credentials, without me feeling like a failure. Tip number 3, take a multi-week class. Now we have lots of different parenting classes here. Some come up as like one day on Sundays, but I want to encourage you specifically, take a multi-week class that our Next Gen ministry offers. We have 3 main classes. One is called Growing Kids God's Way. That class is designed for younger families, families who haven't quite reached into the teenage years, though there's a lot of things that apply to a family who are still entering into that stage. But especially for those of us like me who have families in that 2-year-olds, 4-year-olds, 7, 8-year-olds, kind of in that stage, this is a great class for you. It's a long class. It's a detailed class, but it's going to give you good, rich answers from a family, led by a family who's been there and done it. A family who's gone through all the heartaches that come with having young children, all the stresses of trying to help those young children internalize God's truth and then begin living it out. Our second class is Life in the Middle Years, also led by a great family in our church who's been there and done that. This class is designed for families kind of in that middle years where their kids are moving kind of into junior high and out of junior high, kind of into that range, entering into high school. And all the new and fresh questions and issues of life that kind of come in as you enter that stage as a family. This class seeks to give you help over a couple different weeks of detailed, deep biblical information on how to help your children move from being children to adults and young adults. Final class is called Vertical Marriage. If you're a married parent, this is a great class for you because nothing can make raising children more difficult than when as a married parent, you and your spouse aren't on the same page. You and your spouse aren't experiencing a great, loving, intimate relationship. And this class can help with that. These classes are all starting up in the beginning of February, just a few weeks away. There's time for you to connect with them if you'd like to. Mom and Dad, it's okay to ask for help. And the Next Gen Ministries of Southern Hills are here to help you find help. Please, just come ask us.